Good Monday evening. It is August the 28th, 2017. This is an updated special made video concerning Tropical Storm Harvey and the remnants of it that could pose a threat towards our part of the country as it barrels its way towards our part of the world. You can tell right here that it is currently a tropical storm. It is moving offshore of Texas and is posed to make landfall once again on the Texas or Louisiana border, and it will possibly become a strong tropical storm or a low Category 1 hurricane. So this is possibly going to be making landfall for the third time, once in Mexico, once in Texas, and now the third time will be in the Texas or Louisiana border. Somewhere in that region is where we do expect it to make landfall once again, and it's from then onward that we are going to begin to watch it move towards our region. Right now, it is moving southeast, but eventually it will take a turn to the north and to the northeast and will pose a threat to our neck of the woods. Here's the center track from the National Hurricane Center showing that it is posed to go right through western Kentucky, but give or take a few hundred miles to 50 miles on both sides of that line. This forecast cone is basically showing you a more wider area of concern. Basically, anywhere in this cone has a low to even a high chance, or has some sort of chance of the center of Harvey going into their community, basically. So basically just about everybody in this cone is going to have at least some sort of impact from Harvey, whether it be cloud cover, whether it be rain, whether it be wind. They're going to have some impact. A lot of the wind from Harvey that you've been seeing on social media, a lot of the rain from Harvey that you are seeing on the media department is not going to be something that we're going to have to worry about. We're not going to be worrying about 40 plus inches of rainfall and winds over 130 to 160 miles per hour. A lot of that is going to be weakened, maybe some gusts up to 20 to 30 miles an hour, with sustained winds around 10 to 15 miles an hour, with rainfall amounts around 1 to 3 inches area wide, with some higher localized totals. Things like that is what we're dealing with. This is nothing out of the ordinary for us, but it is something that we do have to warn you guys about because it could affect the drainage systems around here. Fall is coming, so some of the leaves are already beginning to fall in some communities and are already beginning to get into the drains, and it's been dry here lately as well, so some of those leaves are just falling off brown. So the thing is that we do have some natural things around the region that are occurring right now that could pose a threat when it comes to all of this rain coming at once and mixing around. We also have a very hard, dry ground surface, so a lot of this could run off very easily instead of getting saturated. So we'll have to watch that as well. Let's go ahead and start the slideshow just to kind of show you guys an idea of what I'm thinking as of right now. I do plan on posting another updated video on Wednesday, tomorrow, basically showing you, or rather not on Wednesday, but Tuesday, to show you guys just another updated video. That should be the last one, as impacts from Harvey rain-wise for us will begin on Wednesday. So here's the European model. The model that I believe is going to have the best handle on this storm system, and I've been watching the European over the last couple of days, and it was actually the first and only model that stayed consistent with pushing Harvey into our region. Granted, there was a run or two, and that was an exception that always, ran too far south or too far north. But compared to the rest of the other models, this was mainly the only one that stayed consistent with pushing it into the Middle Mississippi Valley and Ohio Valley. And so I do agree with this model the most, and it is continuing to show that same solution, and it is still spitting out some fairly high rainfall totals that does concern me. So this consistency in the European model does raise my confidence level, but it also at the same time raises my level of concern, because it is spitting out some pretty uncomfortable numbers as far as rainfall totals are concerned. This is on at 6 p.m. Wednesday evening. The first raindrops, I wanted to start it at this time to show you when this event is going to begin for us. I think by Wednesday afternoon and evening, showers and thunderstorms will be going to knock on our doorstep from the south. It will be going from south to north as some of those outer rain bands, those first rain outer bands, will be moving northwest into our part of the country. Once we get towards Thursday morning, we begin to see a little bit more localized areas of concern. Not as great of a chance for rain in our part of the system, but more so towards our south and west. As we begin to move into maybe even around early Thursday morning, this will be around 6 a.m. The European does show a pretty strong band of showers and thunderstorms pushing through our region. I'm a little bit skeptical of this. We'll just have to wait and see how everything unfolds. I don't know if that band is going to hold together as much as the European thinks it is going to, but we'll just have to wait and see what the runs for tomorrow are going to be spitting out. And then by the time we get towards Thursday evening, we're beginning to see some of this become more spotty, and we're beginning to see a lot more organized rain around that north and west side of the area of low pressure and east side as well. And that is going to be moving into our region by really late Thursday night and early Friday morning. We're really beginning to see this low pressure system stay strong, and it is going to push rain totals into our region that could exceed around 1 to 2 inches of rain per hour. So some very heavy rainfall is possible when you wake up on your Friday morning. By Friday afternoon, Friday night football games will be beginning. The poncho is something that you may want to have around, as it looks like a steady, heavy set-in rain is possible on Friday. I'm not sure if it's going to be during game time on Friday evening or if it's going to be in the morning, but the point is, around the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday time frame, that's the 4 days that we're honing in on for concern, and the 4 days that we're honing in on for the most impactful parts of Harvey to be hitting our region. By the time Saturday morning rolls around, this system begins to pull off according to the Euro model, and we begin to see the rain exit our region. This is the GFS 250 millibar map. This is the upper levels of the atmosphere showing you the winds. And a lot of times when you see a lot of wind shear with systems like these, they tear them apart and they weaken them. But with this system, we haven't had a lot of wind shear to weaken it, so it looks like we're going to be still looking at a very strong area of low pressure hitting our region. I think it will be lower than what the GFS is thinking, these millibars right here. I think they will be lower than what the GFS is thinking, more so with the European, where it's saying around a 1,004 millibars or so. That seems reasonable. 1,010 millibars seems too weak of a low with what the GFS is spitting out as far as rainfall totals are concerned. A lot of the upper level strong winds and wind shear will be off to our northwest and off to our east over the Atlantic Ocean. And here are the PWatt values, precipitable water, showing you guys how much moisture, if you were to squeeze it all into 1 inch in one area, one column of the atmosphere. This is showing you how much rain could be squeezed out into that one column. And this is showing some pretty outstanding numbers for this time of the year, showing around 2.5 inches of rain. That is a lot of moisture, guys. You can tell some of these color contours are towards the top levels of this map and to the top levels of this key down here at the bottom of your screen. So these are showing numbers that we haven't seen in a little while, at least as far as posed with as some sort of tropical event. So this is something that is going to be a big player key role into the amount of moisture that is being sucked into this system from the southwest, the south, northeast even. A lot of moisture coming into this system. Moisture will be drawn out from Hurricane Irma, possibly. That will be off towards our northeast, and it is going to be posing a threat towards our region as far as spitting moisture out towards our way. Harvey will be a stronger system, so it will be feeding in some of that moisture that Irma will be spitting out over the Atlantic Ocean. And the Gulf of Mexico waters are nice, warm, and toasty, so they will be spitting in some high contour values as far as moisture levels are concerned. So we have a lot of moisture to work with in a very small, concentrated area, and that will be where the tropical remnants of Harvey will be. Here is the GEFS, the GFS ensemble mean. Out of all of the ensemble members, all 16 of them, this is the mean that they spit out of rainfall totals. So this is basically showing you the agreement of them that most of the highest rainfall totals will be coming up into eastern Arkansas. And from then on, it's a little bit skeptical on if they go into southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, or into our part of the country, western Kentucky and western Tennessee. So that part of that axle of concern, the axis of heaviest rainfall, will be something that is going to switch and change around the models over the next couple of days. But you get the idea. The heaviest rainfall totals seem to be going into parts of eastern Arkansas and then somewhere around this area that I'm circling my mouse right here. The last map I want to show you guys, this is a hand-drawn map from the Weather Prediction Center, National Weather Service, showing that the heaviest axis of rainfall continues to be right just like the GEFS is showing in eastern Arkansas, parts of southeast Missouri, and then into our region as well. These numbers will change. The axis, the placement of the heaviest rainfall will change. Please stay tuned over the next couple of days as we see Tropical Storm Harvey and the remnants of it moving towards our part of the country.